Hi, this is Lexi
and Sid
of Hess Van Schlemmer Metalworks and Art, home of the Schlemmer Metal Wolves. We are a small but furious family-run welding, fabrication, and metalworks shop with CNC capabilities and now full-scale powder coating operation. We bring unique, affordable quality art to life within the realm of practicality. Whether it's signs, sculptures, railings, shelves, furniture, or even just powder coat for your rims or your patio set, give us a look, check us out on Facebook or Instagram, or call 618-670-5724. We are Hess Van Schlemmer Metalworks. That was terrible.
we tried.
Hey everybody, Shane Presley here with Rock Paper Podcast. Let me tell you about my friends over at Naked Vine, located at 1624 Clarkson Road in Chesterfield, Missouri. Hey, swing by and visit them this week, Tuesday, August 14th. Rock Paper Podcast presents Singer-Songwriter Storytelling Showcase with Anna Shanoff, Bobby Stevens, and Matt Wynn. Thursday, August 16th, the Wilhelms. Friday, August 17th, the Warbuckles. And Saturday, August 18th, the Scandaleros. You can find all these shows and more at nakedvine.net. Be sure to follow along with them on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And come by for the show and grab a glass of wine or whiskey or local craft beer. It's always a good time out at Naked Vine, so come check it out. Thanks, everybody. Enjoy the show.
A podcast is kind of like it's like a radio show that's not on the radio. It's on the internet. Does that make sense? Uh-huh. Yeah. That's also like my mom. It makes it sound more confusing, doesn't it? It sounds like this.
Oh yeah, this is the Macho Man Randy Savage, and you're listening to the Rock Paper Podcast. Check it out at rockpaperpodcast.com. Yeah, dig it!
Rock Paper Podcast. Rock Paper Podcast. Rock Paper Podcast, y'all.
Hey everybody, Shane Presley here, Rock Paper Podcast, coming to you from St. Louis, Missouri. Hanging out today at Smithley Productions in St. Louis with Neal and Adam. Welcome to the show, guys.
Hey, thanks. Thank you.
You guys want to properly introduce yourselves for everybody?
Yeah, I'm Neal Mccluskey.
I am Adam Hilligard.
And like I said, Neal and Adam, you guys, this is cool, man. Like that, I'm finally getting to do this. We're getting to hang out, like, because I think we kind of been friendly online for a little while. That's how a lot of these work. Start taking notice of somebody doing some cool stuff in town, and I'm glad it all like came to be today. I think remember somebody on Twitter shot me a link to and stuff too, so that helped out. He had some fans saying, "Hey, check out the song and stuff." So that was that doesn't hurt. Yeah, but. It was cool, man. When, like I said, that's one of my favorite things about doing this show is to continue to discover great new music in town, and so that's the case again today, man. I'm excited to be here, going to talk about some of your guys' stuff and everything. But like I said, I don't know a lot about Neal and Adam, so fill me in. Where does all this get started, guys?
It all starts back at Kirkwood High School.
Yeah,
German class.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we go back to 1995, 1994, something.
Yeah.
It was, I don't know.
Honestly,
I think it was like 1994. It was my freshman year in high school. And I overheard Adam talking about, a conversation he was having with somebody in class about a flanger pedal or something that made me realize he played the guitar.
Yeah.
And, I was new at the school. Like I said, it was my freshman year. I didn't really have a lot of folks, that I knew could play music or whatever. So I asked him if he wanted to play guitar sometime. And we write our own songs,
right.
Or I had written my own songs up until that point. And we just started jamming, just kind of getting to feel each other out, and our songwriting just totally meshed from day one. And then it was like we never looked back after that. We just started writing our own material, didn't really mess with covers too much. Mm-hmm. Sometimes to fill in a set list, when you play live, people want to hear a familiar song every so often, but our thing was just writing. We just wanted to write the best songs we could. So
yeah, is that So did you guys go through like some different bands or different things before getting to just being Neal and Adam, or was it always been?
We've always stayed together.
Yeah.
Played with various musicians, but it's always just been like Neal and I pretty much doing like the writing and all that. Yeah, we do pretty well as a duo.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's difficult, like we were saying earlier, to bring in a group of players, but yeah, the writing and everything has always just been us.
Right. I didn't know if maybe you had some, high school band, like you're saying, freshmen and stuff
okay.
Because like some of those, I always get a kick out of those early high school band names and different.
Oh yeah, I got one of those for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was in a band in middle school before I met Adam.
All right.
It was funny because my dad, like he would always have the classic records. Like I was raised on good music. You know what I'm saying? The Beatles, Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers, Emerson, Lake and Palmer, whatever he was spinning, Traveling Wilburys, stuff like that.
Right.
Real great songwriting, really quality songwriting. And then middle school hit, and it was like, oh, actually, Nirvana's my favorite, and it's punk and it's grunge and all that.
Sure.
So I joined a, pretty hardcore band, and so we called ourselves Plankton, because that was about the coolest name in the world,
Yeah.
It was either Plankton or Milk Soda, stuff like that, just these random kind of names. And we were pretty hard. It was all distortion. It was all power chords. It's what we were into at the time.
Right.
But it's like through that, it's kind of how I found my niche writing. I'm like, oh, okay, so you piece together a verse and a chorus, and then there's a bridge and all that. So it was like, I wanted to like not play... heavy stuff was fine with me, but I didn't want to be like anchored to like that particular band. And so when high school came, I saw it as an opportunity to like maybe meet new people. And then when Adam started talking about music, when I first met him, that's what kind of opened the door.
For sure. Do you guys were you guys doing like talent show stuff then in school too, or was it something you guys kind of just kept to yourself for a while?
I think we kept to ourselves.
Yeah.
I don't remember doing too much in high school. Periodically, we would do something like somebody's party or something like that. I kind of vaguely remember that.
Yeah, that was we didn't. Yeah, Adam and I never did any talent show together. I was trying to do. I did a talent show in high school my senior year with a couple of guys, and I played guitar, and the three of us all sang because we were in a cappella together, and we did The Sound of Silence. It's fantastic. And we got the harmony down right, because we were all in a cappella together. So it was really easy for us to nail it. And I was like, yes, just playing in front of all those people. Like, I want to do this forever, But the real magic was always writing.
Right.
In Adam's basement, we always kind of...
Yeah, just kept on learning and growing and writing.
That's right.
Yeah, it was almost kind of, when something's new, it's just amazing. And that's pretty much how it was. Like, we would listen to a lot of music that nobody really listened to back then. Beach Boys, Pet Sounds, all that. And we would just kind of go from there and start to learn different ways to write and become more creative.
Yeah, we were into stuff that wasn't popular at the time. It seemed like everybody was into like Dave Matthews Band or whatever, at that time in the 90s. Yeah. And we were like, Adam's dad, Adam got a great music upbringing because his dad was in the industry for quite some time, and worked on some real significant projects. He was in Motown Records. And,
he was a songwriter for Motown Records.
Oh, wow.
Late 70s. So, so Neal and I both grew up with music, so it's something that we just always knew we wanted to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like playing, and, we'd always meet together. We'd play in Adam's basement, and you'd see the old reel-to-reel and all the old gear that his dad used to use when their band was playing down there. This is post Motown Records, and they moved back to St. Louis, and Adam's dad was playing in different bands.
Yeah, I think that was like early on. Yeah.
But at any rate, we'd be down there playing and in the midst of all this cool musical equipment, and you just got this sense like this is what you wanted to do for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
And it was awesome because Adam's dad would give us, he would maybe hear some of our songs when he was walking down the hall. He'd hear it from the top of the stairs, or we just straight up, we'd record a portion of it or a whole song and we'd play it for him. And he would give us the advice, drums are too busy here, tell your drummer to take it down a notch here so that you can hear this. And, some of it seems obvious to us now, but we didn't know back then. He was giving us golden advice, you know what I mean? And it really crafted our songwriting. But he also told us, like getting back to the Beach Boys, like, this is good songwriting. If you want to hear how to structure a song, check out Pet Sounds or listen to, just...
Yeah, all that older music, that song, some of those songwriting.
Right. Real solid stuff. Not to say that, the bands that we were... that were popular when we were just getting together and starting to play. They had good songwriting too.
Oh yeah.
But we weren't really jam bandy. Fish was cool, String Cheese was cool, but like we weren't in it to just play for days like that. You know what I mean? We wanted to write a tight song. We were really interested into radio friendly stuff. Get to the chorus within 30, 40 seconds. Mm-hmm. Just impactful stuff.
I think there's a great John Bon Jovi quote where he says, "Don't bore us, get to the chorus."
Yeah.
So
that's right on.
Very important.
Yep.
That's something like when we're writing, we actually did it the other day. What we do is, technology's so cool now. You can just hit the voice memo on your phone or whatever and just kind of record. And we time to see where we are as far as getting to the chorus. And you want to get there under a minute, pretty much with pop writing.
Right.
You got to keep their interest.
For sure.
But
that's what I love about, like you guys are saying about the songwriting, and like in a good song, you guys definitely lend more to the pop sound, but a good song is a good song. The lyrics are going to hold up, whether it's in a country or a rock song or whatever it is.
Right.
Sometimes, definitely some of the stuff, the structure lends more to a pop, but I love the songwriting where the lyrics are, that's what makes it stand out, for me, and that's what I did notice too in some of the songs that you guys have out there that I connected with the writing, and they're just super catchy too. Like that's obviously got the pop hook dialed in there. So on a lot of those, so we I guess so as always. So when do you guys feel like you sort of developed that really like kind of honed into what Neal and Adam was going to do with that pop sound? Like is
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Well, I was just like, is that, you say, obviously you were saying that the Beach Boys and all that stuff kind of helped to influence all that, but you guys always knew right away, like, this is more, we want to definitely do more of this pop thing.
There was a song that we were working on a long time ago. It was called Turn to Stone. And how long did we work on that song? Forever. Just kept on making up these new...
Yeah, it seemed like it.
Yeah. And every time you would keep on going, you kept on growing. And that song was a very unique song, actually. My dad wished we recorded it and still played it. But, this was early on, but, I think that song helped us grow.
Yeah.
Because, as far as, melody lines and chord structure, it was a different song. And
what was cool about, that was, our first go at,
really writing.
Yeah, we had, what was it? I don't know, a Tascam or some type of, no, it wasn't, it was... Man, it was all analog, it was like cassette. I don't know. We might have had 6 or 8 tracks to work with. And we, read about how the Beatles and Brian Wilson, how they would just ping pong these tracks and layer them on top of each other with very limited resources at times. If you have an 8 tracks and then you can layer them on top of one another without losing the generations of sound. Really clever writing. We wanted to take a crack at that, and we were kind of writing a new song anyway, and it was like a playground for us, and so it was a lot of our influences, obviously rock, blues, what have you, but I think that was our first taste of pop. And then fast forward to where we met a dude named Mike Rogers, and he took one of our songs to the next level, and he played it back for us to see how we felt about it, and we were like, dude, that is the jam, he turned a good song even better.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that was Everything Is All Right.
That was initially like a demo, and actually, I think my stomach hurts if I hear the demo after or before Mike.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's a totally different song. I mean, acoustic based.
Right.
You know, it was poppy, but when Mike, you know, and Mike Rogers' backstory on him, he's been in the industry, you know, for, I don't know, 30 years or so. He's got a couple gold records under his belt. I mean, he was, you know, the song from Delight, Groove is in the Heart.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's him. He was responsible for some of the genius behind that mixing and mastering. You know, super cool guy.
That's where we were in April. That's where we were recording the song Bright Light. So
we were.
And then he did because Everything Is All Right was being promoted at the CMJ, and so he totally made it awesome. That's how we got hooked up.
That's right. And that is when we heard one of our songs, I think, come to its full potential. Like, wow, like, this is it. You know what I mean? Like, this is what we need to be doing. This, it just fits. Everything fits. And it was a natural fit because after that, cool lady named Jane Kemish with JD Promotions discovered us in Wales, you know, and we got on ITV in Britain, you know, all over the radio over there. And then that's when, like, we really started to, you know, kind of, as you said before, riding the wave, you know, like that's where, like, okay, wow, we're totally on this wave right now. We just want to keep it going, you know. So that's when we really found, I guess, that we belong in the pop genre, you know.
Yeah. Well, you mentioned Everything Is All Right, and that's available, I guess, everywhere digitally right now.
Everywhere,
iTunes and Spotify and all that fun stuff. So check that out for sure. And that's one for me. Like I guess that's where the first one I heard. You know, obviously, and then I was just hooked, man. Like that chorus kicks in, and you can't help but to start singing along with it. Like it just immediately catches you, and so. Definitely a fun one, and like for me, that even the melody too. Like it's been happening to me a lot with a couple different songs, but like I'll just get that melody stuck in my head, and then like where everything I say for the rest of the day will like goes in that same, you know. So I'm just like everything I keep saying just comes out in that melody and stuff. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, it just
that's cool, man.
It's just fun, but that's what I love about music, and I love that it just kind of those little earworms that get stuck in your head, and you just can't help but to sing along with those songs, man. But
amen.
Let's. Is there any particular story around? I mean, besides, like you said, he was kind of working with him in the studio. But as far as the lyrics and things, I mean, is there anything particularly around the lyrics that you guys were going through or something at the time when you wrote these songs?
Everything Is All Right was interesting. That one actually, there was a publisher in New York that had kind of reached out, and he was kind of asking at that time, you know, come up with something like positive and poppy. And I think we finished Everything Is All Right in a weekend.
I know, 2 weeks tops. I don't know.
Yeah, it was like 2 weeks.
We were like, oh, positive, we can do that. And man, you just find a few chords, like you're saying, earworm. You know, just this melody just kind of popped in there, and we're like, whoa, that's rad. And just kind of, it was kind of a feel good. We wanted a good message, you know what I mean? And that song was really true to us. And, you know, we didn't write it for the sole purpose of appeasement. You know, we didn't write it out of obligation to just appease this guy. We wanted to write a new song anyway. Yeah. So it was true to us, you know what I mean? And once the lyrics came, it was like, man, this is great. You know, just... why not? You know, I mean, everybody deserves to hear that. You know, the message of a song like that. You know.
Yep.
It doesn't matter what you look like, everything is alright. You're still an open book. What makes you think he doesn't want you? Don't you want to have another look?
It doesn't
you get so romantic? Is it automatic for you to wear your heart up on your sleeve? Now you're breaking through the static. How it would be tragic if you didn't tell him before you leave. You're broken, you need him. There's nothing you would not give. Unspoken emotions are calling for just one kiss. It doesn't matter what you look like, everything is alright. Everything is alright. What makes you think it doesn't want you, don't you want to ask you out tonight? If he would only say how beautiful, beautiful, beautiful you are. What's it gonna take? What's it gonna take? What's it gonna take to get into your heart? What's it gonna take? What's it gonna take? What's it gonna take to get into your heart? It doesn't matter what you look like, everything is alright. Everything is alright. What makes you think it doesn't want you, don't you want to ask him out tonight? If he would only say how beautiful, beautiful, beautiful you are. What's it gonna take? What's it gonna take? What's it gonna take to get into your heart? What's it gonna take? What's it gonna take? What's it gonna take to get into your heart? What's it gonna take? What's it gonna take? What's it gonna take to get into your heart? What's it gonna take? What's it gonna take to get into your heart?
I love that too. Like, you know, either way, it's like I said, you're kind of grooving and dancing to it because it's got that upbeat to it. But then like the fact that there is a positive message and everything else, like so people can sing along to this feel good, you know, song and not really even fully realize like what they're saying. Sometimes I think that's, I mean, even I just think it's fun. Like it's fun about music. Like people can just kind of get lost in and not even realize like, oh, hey, like actually, hey, there's, if you look at the lyrics, like there's a really good message here, like that, you know, and it's just funny about music. Sometimes it can, I also find it funny, like how the opposite can be too. Like if it's a really sad song, even though it's a super upbeat, poppy kind of song, but like, then you read the lyrics like, oh man, this is kind of a bummer, really, like,
Yes.
but you know, it's nice to hear that this is definitely more of a positive one. So like, cause there's not a lot of that. I mean, there is, but the grand scheme, there's a lot of songs about heartbreak and everything else. So it's like when you hear something good where, hey, everything's going to be all right. So
yeah, it's cool because that's like, I mean, I agree totally with what you're saying. We, most of the songs we write are like, you know, it might be about heartbreak or like our relationship that didn't work out or something that went up in flames. And so this was also kind of new territory for us. Like, what if we just did? What if happily ever after is cool? Yeah. You know?
But
like,
you know what, actually, to backtrack, just to give credit towards too, the story is he wanted something poppy, and I think your wife, Yibby, said to do something positive. So actually to give her credit, I think that's how the positive message came
you have a
about.
good memory, yeah.
Yeah, I was just sitting there thinking about like, wait a second. He was asking for something super poppy, and normally we kind of do the dark over bright chords and like.
Yeah, we like that combo.
Right.
Happy chords with a slightly darker message, or like minor chords, kind of a somber with a positive message. We just like the. This was like just, you know, very transparent.
Yeah.
And a very, you know, just very catchy.
Yeah. Well, you like I said, I guess a lot of people are catching on to it. You said you guys entered that particular song, right, for the Next to Rock now?
Yeah.
And that You guys are in the finals.
Yeah, we're in the I guess the local finals in Columbia through 102.3 BXR. Yeah, that was kind of pretty cool to hear it, on the radio, and then hear that we had got enough votes to be in the finals. So, yeah, that song has done us a lot of favors. And I think the coolest was, not in addition to the Next to Rock, was actually seeing it on national TV, and Neal was saying earlier on This Morning and on ITV. It's been all over. So.
Yeah, that was a big deal, man.
Yeah.
It was on the fashion segment of ITV, or on fashion segment of This Morning, that's right. And so you get to watch women walking up and down wearing different clothes and jewelry, listening to your music is playing, and we're like, wow, this is wild.
Yeah.
Our Jane, our promoter over in Wales, sent it to us by way of text message. Was that right, or did she? She recorded it.
Yeah, she actually recorded it, and it's on Facebook.
That's right. She was like, "Check this out, guys," and
it was on TV there.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. So yeah, that was just really, we got a lot of traction.
A lot of traction with that song.
Right.
It's played all over the world. A lot of internet radio, community radio stations, FM stations, stuff like that. We're just really happy to have that happen.
Yeah. Well, part of Next to Rock, you guys going to Columbia to get to play a part of that. I guess they're putting on a show for the competition. Is that right?
Right. It's at Rose Hall. Let's see, Sunday, August 19th.
Yeah.
And I think doors open at 2 or 3. So, yeah, we're pretty excited about that one.
Yeah, we're going to be one of many cool bands that are playing there.
Yeah, there's some really cool bands that got into the finals there that we were pretty impressed with.
Yeah, it's just great to be part of that group,
And you said all part of a good cause too, right?
Yeah.
That's right. Part of the proceeds go to St. Jude's. So St. Jude's Hospital. So that's awesome. That's a win-win.
Yeah.
And just to have our name, I think, in the hat amongst some of those other really cool bands is great, on top of it being an awesome cause. So
right. So yeah, if you're in the Columbia area, come on out to Rose on August 19th, right?
Right.
And then if other than that, you can follow along with Neal and Adam on your Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter and all that to keep up with other show dates hopefully coming up soon, and all the more shows coming. So we did do, like I said, we are here at Smith Lee. We did do a little live jamming in the studio here. You guys shared Oil Fire. We did a little live stripped down version of this that also is out there available for the studio version, available online for purchase. But anything around Oil Fire you guys want to share?
that was kind of
that song was actually older than Everything Is Alright.
It was like you wrote a part of it and I wrote a part of it at different times, and we were like, this is perfect together. Yeah. A lot of our songs happen like that. We have such a huge catalog of partially written songs. Sure. Mm-hmm. And I remember Yibby, it was right when we first moved into the house, my wife bought me this awesome Yamaha digital piano, and the chords for the chorus, burning like an over, I was like, oh man, like that was in my head. But the chords that turned out to be the verse, Adam had written probably, I don't know, a year, 2 years before. Yeah, it's just wild how things come together. 2.
There's nothing gonna change your mind. Caught you at the scene of the crime. Fingerprints of love all over every window. Around and around it goes. Why don't you burn it like an oil fire? Why don't you burn it like an oil fire? Why don't you burn it like an oil fire? Why don't you burn it around and around it goes? You got somebody to hide, to burn through like a dog in the fight. when I saw you all over each other. But it made you feel like you're walking on the water. Now she's burning like an old fire inside. You're shaking to the core, the lie, yeah, you lie with. Wake up alone, sweat all over your body. Won't you look at the world around you? Every part of you from the start of you until the end of time. But that was when we used to pretend that I loved you so, but I let you go. Now here we go again, and now you're burning like an oil fire inside. You're shaking to the core of the lie, yeah, you lie with. Wake up alone, sweat all over your body. Won't you look at the world around you?
No, that song really, I mean, was just more of a story, nothing in particular. No, we weren't like, it wasn't a narrative of like a life event or something like that. But it did have a message that I think everybody could relate to that's been in a bad relationship, you know, or where there's been some dishonesty or some weird, you know, drama. I mean, I think that happens in a lot of the relationships before you find the one, you know?
Right.
But yeah, that song was kind of a painful reminder of what bad relationships are.
Sure.
So we had to sing about it, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Is that? I always feel like sometimes when you sing some of those things, like, is it like picking a scab a little bit? Like it's, you know, I mean, even though like you might be in a better place now, but like sometimes a part of you's kind of got to go back and kind of relive that every time. Like I imagine like as a songwriter and stuff, like is that the case for you guys? Or
yeah, no, there's definitely truth to that. I mean, it's the lyrics might be structured around an idea that came from an experience, something real that happened. You know what I'm saying? And so sometimes things come to mind. You sing it enough, and then it just becomes lyrics on the song. But getting back to what you're asking, I mean, there's definitely honesty in the songwriting there. It comes from somewhere, you know. And then we just kind of build the story around it.
Sometimes you don't realize it too. It's like coming out from, you know, from the depths. Like, you know, just like, you know, this kind of comes out. But
yeah, agreed.
Yeah. Well, you guys kind of shared a little bit into your process. Do you guys with the collaborating and things? But do you guys do you both write the lyrics, or do you guys or is it or do one kind of come with an idea and kind of write a good guitar part for the other? Or
we write everything equally. It's like it's kind of like who, you know, Adam might come up with something on his own, or I might come up with something on my own. And we're like, hey, what do you think about this? You know, and usually it's like, right on, let's work with that. Yeah. Or if it's like, or if we're in the middle of working on something already, it's like, let's put that one on the back burner. It sounds good, but we'll put it on the back burner and revisit it later. Sometimes later could be a year. Sometimes it could be a week, you know. But we do, I mean, with Everything Is All Right, we wrote, I think, the lyrics equally, you know. We wrote the song equally. Everything was just 100% Adam, 100% me, you know, group effort. Usually that's how things go down. I feel like very rarely do we come up with something exclusively Adam or exclusively Neal, and then we're like, let's play it this way, you know. There's always a collaboration. I mean, Adam plays piano, I play piano, you know, we guitar and bass, and I mean, so I feel like it's whoever comes up with it first, and then we just build on top of it. I don't know, wouldn't you say?
Well, yeah, and then like sometimes like even like certain chord structures they put across an emotion, right? Like just by their sound, and then we kind of go from there. Like sometimes for me it's like a picture in my mind. Like you kind of see something and then you go from there. But yeah, I mean, it's always been pretty equal.
Yeah, right.
Because,
Like, yeah, I know what you're saying.
it's kind of like you see like a silent movie for a second in your head, and you kind of go from in that direction as far as like what we want to write about.
Yeah, and that becomes contagious, and so then therefore we wind up contributing equally. Like, that makes me feel like snow falling, so let's write about this or that. I don't know. It's just amazing what a few chords can do. How they get the creative juices flowing,
Yeah.
but I mean, it's that type of creativity that I think allows us to really work well with one another because we share the same vision a lot of times.
Right. You guys have any like writing like practices or anything that like you do to challenge yourself or anything, or is it more just when the inspiration hits you just try to keep up and write it, keep up have the pen to paper? Because I've heard like some people like try to write like a song a day or do different things like that or whatever. It's like,
So I think that's what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
That's not what we do. Unfortunately, I we're getting better, but I would like to do that at some point. But then then there's a magic, behind something brand new that you maybe haven't worked for a few months, and then all of a sudden, boom! So I don't know. I've heard two different things all the time.
Yeah, when we didn't have 9 to 5 ish jobs, it would be a song a day, and like we totally value that, but now it's like we write when we can, so when we do, we make it count.
Right.
I
think all that kind of helps too. Like, I feel like, if you get into, like, you think about the touring musician, like every day he's on, goes up and plays the songs and gets in the van, goes to the next city, plays the songs, and it's like you're not really living any real life moments. It's like until you're off stage and you get to go back home and you're hanging with the family and you're doing that kind of stuff, and like that's when the inspiration starts. I feel like this is my perspective. I'm not a writer or anything, but I just feel like sometimes it would be hard to get motivated to write something when you're just kind of going through the different day-to-day things, and then but like as far as like going to work and doing your different things, like you get to really live things where you can write about something that's relatable and stuff too, like that people are gonna connect to, and because like we're right there with you, we're all going through the same thing. So I don't know, I think there's probably, again, there's no right or wrong way to do any of this stuff, but like I just feel like that probably helps too with some of the writing. And
yeah, agreed. Yeah, there's a lot of truth in what you're saying. Sometimes I feel surprised because I'll be doing the most mundane thing that I do every day at work or at home, and something will pop into my head, and I'm like, oh, dang, stop what I'm doing, pick up my cell phone, and I'm like, la-da-da-da-da-da, and then I hit record or whatever, so I can refer back to it, or else it's just gone. But a lot of times it'll be like right when you wake up in the morning or when you're drifting off at night to sleep, you've got to wake up and write it down. It's so catchy when you think about it. Sometimes you're like, I won't forget that,
It's gone.
Yeah, and then it's gone like a vapor.
Right.
You're like, it's there, and then it's not there. In the shower too is another one.
That's weird too. That is like ideas.
I don't know what's up with that.
I don't know.
In the shower, you're getting clean. Maybe it's because you're feeling good and you start singing and you're like, oh, it's a great idea. I don't know. But yeah, definitely. I mean, getting out of the daily grind, whatever it is, be it touring or just being at work, really helps just kind of open your mind. And, like you were saying, there's no right or wrong way, but I feel like somehow that kind of puts us in more of a perceptive or a receptive mode to write something new, to write something, worthwhile. Yeah.
You guys mentioned being played overseas and all this. Is there any plans to put together some touring and do some go over there and visit?
We'd love that.
Yeah,
we would. We got to find the right musicians, but that is most certainly in the cards. And we have very support. Like my wife is very supportive, and Adam's fiance is incredibly supportive, soon to be wife, and I mean they would love nothing more for us to realize our dream. So touring would be awesome, but we have to do the songs justice first to be able to take them on the stage in a way that would, really, I think, help facilitate a tour proper.
Right, I agree. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, like, that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
We would love that more than anything.
Yeah. I mean, that's like pretty high up on my bucket list, is just touring, just to, not as a musician, but just to see the world, like get to see some other the sights and stuff. So music too along the way. For me, one of the big ones is I want to go to Red Rocks and see a show there. It's
nice.
That's obviously a little more feasible goal than going Europe and stuff. But I would. A friend of mine just did that a little bit ago. Where they kind of backpacked through Europe and got to see like. I think like Roger Waters and Pearl Jam and like a bunch of really big shows all over there, and I'm like super jealous. I was like following his Facebook feed, and I'm like, man, and I was like, I gotta do that. Like I gotta. I don't know how he afforded it, but like this.
Bed and breakfast or something,
right. But that would be pretty incredible to just again experience the music, but also getting to see some of the world.
Yeah, that would be very feasible for us. I mean, like we look on our SoundCloud and it's like our listeners are in Germany or they're in London, they're in New Zealand, they're, so it's like, man, like we could totally rock this, and we'd love to, but again, getting there, got to get there.
Yeah, right. I would also like to just experience myself too, the difference in like the crowds, because I've heard a lot of stories that sometimes over there the crowd is like very receptive, like where they might not read it, like if you look at them they might not show a lot of emotion sometimes, but until like the song's done and then they all like get a standing ovation and stuff, like, but here everybody's like wants to record the whole show on their phones and everything else, and it's like, yeah, so it's interesting the cultural differences too, and how people take in music and stuff. So I would, like I said, it'd be interesting to see for myself to how that works over there.
Yeah,
but yeah, that would be fun, man. So yeah, if anybody wants to help these guys out getting over to Europe, I mean, that'd be or anywhere out there, that'd be great. So
yeah, they could email or nealandadam.com. Right.
Tell
Hit us up on Facebook,
Twitter.
Yeah, please, spread the word. Yeah. We need musicians. Yeah.
I mean, there's no shortage of great players in St. Louis, so I'm sure we can definitely help put something together for you guys. Get out there and start playing.
Awesome.
Let's share one more tune. This is a currently unreleased, but you guys are in studio working on this particular tune, and it's called Bright Light. And again, this is a stripped down live version of the song, but like I said, you guys are gearing up to record it and things. Is this shaping up to be a record, or is it EP, or just going to release it as a single?
It's going to be a single. It's done.
Yeah.
It's just in production right now. So we're just hoping to hear it soon. We haven't heard like the final version yet. So it's kind of going through the motions right now, but we're hoping we hear it very soon.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we got to record it up in Connecticut with our buddy Mike Rogers. And he's just really an awesome dude,
Stayed at his house. It was awesome.
Yeah, that's right on. Yeah, he was gracious enough to let us stay in his home. And I mean, it was like, just hitting the song with everything we got. One day was just entirely devoted to vocals. The next day was entirely devoted to guitar. And it was really neat, I think, to be involved in a recording session that was regimented like that, because Adam and I have done that before, not quite to that degree. Also, we had a limited time frame up there. I think we were only there for 3 or 4 days. And so Mike was like, well, let's do this. Let's get out everything we can, from you guys. And, we gave it our all. And it was really cool to see how the song was forming up there. And now we can't wait to hear how it's going to sound, post-production. So.
Sure.
Am I the one you love? You make me feel like I'm inside out. I capture your picture, hang it on my wall, and don't wanna feel like I'm all left out. Everybody talks, people talk, everybody talk to each other. That's terribly predictable. Every little syllable, scared of the bright light burning in your heart, waiting for the fist fight that rages in your heart. Am I the one you want? You are the needle that'll never put down. I'm wicked, addicted, prone to be the anchor. You are the ocean and I wish I would drown. Scared of the bright light burning in your heart, waiting for the right time, waiting in the dark. Everybody talks, people talk, everybody talk to each other. Everybody talks, people talk, everybody talk, everybody talks, everybody talks, everybody scared of the bright light burning in your heart, waiting for the right time and waiting in the dark. Scared of the bright light burning in your heart, waiting for the fist fight that rages in your heart.
So when you took it to the studio to Mike, it was sounded like this, like the live acoustic. I mean, is it like you guys started with that and then built it up from there. Or?
Honestly, we started it. I mean, it kind of sounded like this. I mean, the melody, the structure was generally there. We had more. It was heavier in the electric guitar. We even had horns in it, and we thought this would be the great way to go. And then we were kind of feeling like it didn't hit the heart. It didn't really get what we want. I mean, it wasn't poppy enough. I mean, it was a poppy sounding song, but like we needed to tighten it up, and so it's just funny how it is. Like when you wind up starting a song off, writing it in a studio, which was actually here in St. Louis, and you put all these layers on it and you're almost convinced it's the right thing to go, and then you start to get other ideas, just the creative process. Then you start to shed these layers. Next thing you know, it's like, let's just rebuild it from ground up, from square one. And that was the way Mike felt about it anyway.
Right.
So we got to have a clean slate. We literally rebuilt the song, in his studio in Connecticut. And it's it's where we want it to be now, you know. But it's just funny what you have to go through to get there. You know,
Sure.
It's like throwing away a painting and starting over. You know, you're convinced that this is great, but you're like, nah, I'm not quite. You know, I'm not convinced. You know,
No.
Well, sometimes even like I feel like even just changing the BPM or whatever, just changing the tempo just a little bit and like or whatever it is, like slightly tweaking something and like it makes it even better. It's like you like think it's right this way for a while, you're doing that, and then all of a sudden like one little change, you're like, oh, there it is, like everything just clicked into place for some one little tweak and stuff. So that's the fun about being in the studio, I think, too, is just like it's like a playground just to play around and have fun with it until it's right.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
yeah.
And we love to record.
Yeah.
So
Well, hopefully we'll. So that's I guess soon. Hopefully, right?
soon. Yeah, we have no official date yet,
Yeah.
but we hope very soon.
Right. We'll keep an eye out. Is there anything in the works for an album or an EP? I mean, I know pop music is kind of geared around the singles, though. Like especially today's music, So, are you guys just gonna stick with the singles for now? Or?
Yeah, we've been advised to pretty much just singles, and I think that's the way the market's going.
Yeah, it seems like that's the consumer. Like that's people want to just buy the song. Like,
Right.
Yeah. It's interesting. I have a buddy, Pat. He's done pretty. He's done very well for himself, but he has one song in particular that Dan Auerbach at the Black Keys produced, and so he got lumped in with Black Keys Radio on Pandora, and like that really did well for him. Like
that's awesome.
But people love that song. It's called Them Shoes. They love that one song, and they'll go out and buy it. And like, he's like, and it's just interesting. Like I love his whole record, but people are buying like that one song because they heard it on Pandora. And again, like you're saying, people just want to buy the single. So it's interesting, but I think there's music fans out there. There's definitely people that still support records, but I think definitely in a lot of modern pop music and stuff, there's definitely a lot of people just want to buy the single. So
and probably in years to come, it'll go back to being the album will be the thing to have. And
sure.
So it kind of goes back and forth, but yeah, right now we're focusing on singles and trying to just get our best material out there. And I think that's kind of the cool thing when you just focus on single, like that's, you're going to write your best song, kind of, and that's kind of what we've been doing a little bit. Not saying that like if you had an album, you're going to have a couple that, are so-so, but.
Right, it's like almost like you're kind of put in this position where you're treating it like this is your only work of art,
right, exactly.
and you want to make it perfect. Like
right.
If there's one track that's going to represent your essence, you give it your all and you make everything perfect about it, and you treat it like it's the only song you have,
Right, exactly.
So you're throwing everything into it.
Yeah.
So
is there any would you guys want to do a proper music video for Everything Is All Right? Or
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That'd be awesome.
Yeah. I think that'd be a lot of fun, especially kind of help. I mean, obviously the message is there, but like be able to put that message to life. I think that's the fun thing about obviously a music video, to kind of bring the story to to the people. So hopefully I think that'd be fun. I get in my head sometimes like I think it'd be fun to get out there and just to try it, but like I've never had the creativity of it, but like I get these weird ideas sometimes in my head for music videos and stuff, like when I particular songs and stuff sometimes motivate me, but I think it would be fun to get into doing some of that. I got some friends locally that do really well with music videos and different stuff.
Okay.
But I just think that I haven't quite figured out where I fit in with all this stuff. I'm just a giant fan of music, and I started doing this show just to help shine a light on it all. But it would be fun to take the next step in creativity, like whatever it is, if it's music videos or whatever. But like I said, I just
well, if you ever have some ideas, like feel free to shoot them to us.
Sure,
I mean,
yeah, I mean,
we'd
and
love
you,
to hear.
you have a good voice. We heard your Instagram post. I'm like,
I-
hey man,
I don't know
if you
about
want to
that.
sing in one of our songs.
yeah, I don't know about all that, but
Well, what you're doing is awesome, and we
Yeah.
appreciate you for
thanks,
it.
man. Yeah, I appreciate you guys. This is it's been a lot of fun getting to hang, man, and like I said, getting to know a little more about you guys. Like, it's the crazy thing with the internet, man. We can all meet, but it's like it's cool to actually meet face to face here and get to know more about each other and get to share some of these tunes. But I'm very excited for everything that Neal and Adam have coming up. We got, like I said, hopefully some new music on the way and everything else. But if you're in the Columbia, Missouri area, come out and see these guys Sunday, August 19th at Rose, and tell all your friends, and let's pack it out and raise some money for St. Jude's. So
Very cool.
That's right.
yeah. Well, thank you guys, and maybe we'll do it again soon and debut some of those new tunes
Yeah,
and stuff. So
yeah, we'd love that.
yeah,
Yeah, thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you.
thank you guys.
Rock Paper Podcast. Rock Paper Podcast. Rock Paper Podcast.
Rock Paper Podcast.
Well, yeah, that was it.